Okay, we are live on YouTube. Domingo at 7:01.
All right, we will start. On June the 26th, 2020, the Governor of Illinois issued a statewide disaster declaration related to public health concerns. As head of this body, I have determined that an in-person meeting or a meeting otherwise conducted in accordance with the Open Meetings Act is neither practical nor prudent because of the disaster. This meeting will be conducted by internet teleconference without the physical presence of a quorum. Prior to the commencement of this meeting, all members of this body were verified and can see and hear one another. I further find that the physical presence of members of the public is not feasible at this meeting due to the disaster, and more specifically, practical difficulties associated with accommodating the public in an accessible, hygienic location that allows for appropriate social distancing. Alternative arrangements have been made to allow the public to contemporaneously hear all discussion and roll call votes live on the city's official website, on Facebook, and via Zoom teleconference. Notice of these arrangements have been given in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. The public may address this body consistent with the rules previously adopted and recorded and is adopted by mayoral order. We have Alderman Tom Hawley, a member of this body, is physically present at our regular meeting location. All votes should be conducted by roll call, and a verbatim record of this meeting shall be made and maintained in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. With that, I need a call to order. Randy, would you read the title of the agenda, please?
Sure. This is the regular meeting of the City of Blue Island City Council held remotely on Tuesday, March 9th, 2021 at 7 p.m. as permitted by Executive Order 2020-07 signed by Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker on March 16th, 2020 in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. To participate remotely, download the Zoom app or call 312-626-6799. City Council meeting webinar ID number is 849-1680-7443 with a password of 124144.
Thank you, Mr. City Clerk. We'll call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could I have roll call, Mr. City Clerk?
Sure. Bellato.
Here.
Bellato here. Casidas.
Here.
Casidas here. Rita. Rita absent. Donahue. Donahue absent. Hawley.
Here.
Hawley here. Farrenwald.
Here.
Farrenwald here. Hill.
Here.
Hill here. Mack.
Here.
Mack here. Carr.
Here.
Carr here. Zillman.
Here, but I'm having internet problems. I keep going in and out.
Okay, I'll watch to make sure you get in and out. Zillman is here. Clinker.
Here.
Clinker here. Steve-O.
Here.
Steve-O here. Johnson.
Here.
Johnson here. Alexander.
Here.
Alexander here. 12 present, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Presentation of journal proceedings. I'll need a motion and a second to approve the City Council minutes for the date of February the 23rd, 2021.
Alderman Carr, I'll make a motion.
Alderman Carr, who seconds it?
Alderman Hawley.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Casidas.
Aye.
Casidas, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Farrenwald.
Aye.
Farrenwald, aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Mack.
Aye.
Mack, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Zillman.
Aye.
Zillman, aye. Clinker.
Aye.
Clinker, aye. Steve-O.
Aye.
Steve-O, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Alexander.
Aye.
Alexander, aye. 12 ayes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Could you read the section for public comment, sir?
Sure. Public comment shall be by email only. Persons interested in making a public comment must email their public comment to rhoiser@cityblueisland.org by March 9th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Emailed public comments received will be read during the public comment portion of the meeting by City Clerk Randy Heuser.
Thank you very much. Any public comment?
Yeah, we got 3 this evening.
Okay.
First one is from Carol DePace Green. For 11 consecutive months, face mask, gloves, hand sanitizer, food, household items, Blue Island Library newsletters, tenant information, and gift cards were distributed. Thank you to our February 13th Together Blue Island Strong donors, helpers, and volunteers who work together distributing face masks, hand sanitizer, food, gift cards, Blue Island Library newsletters, and bags from Cook County Health Blue Island at Eisenhower High School and special delivery. No questions asked via no contact drive-through in the snow with bitter cold temperatures did not allow these challenges to deter them, nor did the snow and freezing temperatures diminish the need for in the Blue Island community. In fact, it magnified and multiplied the needs of the most vulnerable. Everyone was asked to arrive by 10:30 a.m. because we didn't want our volunteers to be in the cold for an extended period of time. Together, Blue Island Strong completed the highest number of special deliveries to date. Thank you to each of our helpers, donors, and volunteers: Ursula Blazek, Marisol Barrera, Alex Karatachea, Alice Collins of Cook County Health Blue Island and Robbins, Cook County reusable face mask from the City of Blue Island, Eisenhower High School, Caitlin Davies, Angelo Green, Donald Gross, Mason Johnson, Marcia Lee, Kelly and Don Lorenzen, Nancy Madrigal, Patty Maroney, Gabriel McGee, David Minetti from BP Custom Printing, David Power, Bella Reyes, Alex Smith, Victoria Torres, Jesse Walsh, Eisenhower High School's Leo Club, Amy Stevens, Eisenhower Leo Club Advisor, Anna Wassener, Blue Island Public Library Director, Captain Luis Acosta, Blue Island Salvation Army, Neighborhood Watch Group 37, retired Alderman Nancy Thompson, Blue Island City Attorney Carrie Horvath, Blue Island Alderman Dexter Johnson, Blue Island Alderman Alan Stevo, City Clerk Randy Heuser, Blue Island Mayor Domingo Vargas. Apologies in advance to anyone whose name may have been omitted. Our 11th consecutive month, no questions asked, public service get together Blue Island Strong event will be March 2021. Everyone remains welcome to volunteer, donate, help, pick up items, or request special delivery. We got another one from Ron Bloom. It's election time. This election for Blue Island is particularly important to everyone in our city as the makeup of the city council is reduced in number, and with efforts focused on the future will either move Blue Island forward or we will have to continue to be mired in Chicago-style, Springfield-run politics as it has been for years. With more focus on political shenanigans to derail or unseat opponents, control government positions, and pure old crony politics rather than serving and improving our beloved community and its future. It is that important. Many years ago, while a student of political science and David Axelrod was then a young professor, he posed a question. Why does it take 4 city workers to fill the same pothole several times a year? The ensuing discussion, of course, came down to politics, jobs, votes, and lucrative contracts to the suppliers. So as a longtime resident and tax-paying constituent of our wonderful city, when I see a campaign slogan of "It's our city," my first thought was, why is it broke? Particularly since the leadership of the city council has been in power for many years, and now the leader of the council is one of the candidates for mayor with a hand-picked slate. Why is it broke? Perhaps because the city council in power has solely focused on wresting control of the city from the mayor instead of focusing on how to better serve the community over the years. Perhaps because the city council in power has focused on quashing the minority independent voices of the council instead of working together for the betterment of our community over the years. Or perhaps because the city council in power is simply taking directions from Springfield at every turn, rather than best representing the interests of their constituents. Over the course of the last 3 years alone, hundreds of thousands of dollars, tax dollars, have been wasted by the majority party on the city council. Unneeded appointments of separate legal representation, lawsuits, settlements, overpriced contracts, millions of dollars of opportunity missed with the blockage of the hospital sale and more. Most recently, no doubt, extraordinary expenses will be forthcoming due to the electoral challenge to candidates running in opposition to the rebranded Restored Party and attempts to take away any candidate choice of the constituents in the upcoming election. Perhaps money that could be better spent even filling a few potholes. So we, the voting public, do have an important choice, either to support the Fix Our City rebranded party by those that, in this voter's estimate, through poor leadership and Springfield-led political shenanigans, brought Blue Island to its lowest point, or to elect proven leaders that will focus on the future, serving the community, improving services, and moving Blue Island forward. Thinking back to the political lesson from Professor Axelrod, he was on point, except in Blue Island, where the potholes are bigger and deeper than ever, despite the promises in the last election to fix our city. Keep that in mind when you talk with candidates and vote to move Blue Island forward. Sincerely, Ron Bloom. And one more, that's from Nancy Thompson. To Mayor Domingo Vargas and City Council members. My name is Nancy L. Thompson, reside at 11956 Longwood, Blue Island, Illinois. I have lived in this town for approximately 62 years. Never have I seen the outrageous behavior of the opponent, Fred Bellato, sponsor Robert Bob Rita. This is a democracy, not a third world country. We are not Russia, nor do we support autocrats. This unrelenting desire to limit the choice of people to vote for is frightening, is truly frightening. One man to control everyone else in this town should surely raise a lot of eyebrows. How many jobs do you want to control? How many people obligated to you? Slate composed of many ever done anything in this town creditable, yet they are there. Citizens are happy when there is a selective choice. I don't need you to choose for me by eliminating everyone else. The city council members' slogan, Restore Blue Island, all I have seen is destroy Blue Island, hiring an additional law firm at $185 per hour. Sergio Acosta to investigate Domingo Vargas, $15,000. The outrageous amount of $50,000 and still counting on the backs of many poor people trying to manage with the pandemic, out of work, etc. for ballot elimination, ? I am speaking as a retired citizen living on a fixed income senior citizen. How can I support people who have 2 and 3 jobs with a pension and grasping for more of my tax dollars to eliminate all of the opposition? Taxpayers are sick and tired of more monies out of their pockets for the desires of Robert Bob Rita and soldier Fred Bellato, United Blue Island. Citizens of Blue Island, please make your vote count, not for a dictatorship or autocrats, but for people who care for you, not power brokers. Thank you very much. Nancy L. Thompson, concerned, disappointed citizen. And that's all.
We move on to number 6, report of city officials. Under the mayor's announcements, I have quite a number. Again, on behalf of all of us who are here in Blue Island, I want to congratulate and honor and celebrate International Women's Day, which was yesterday. But this month is Women's History Month here in the U.S. But again, so you all know, here in the city of Blue Island, we're honoring and recognizing all our women employees, and we have a total of 37 women who work for the city of Blue Island. So I want to applaud them and honor them for all their service they do for the city of Blue Island. Later on, you're going to hear a report regarding the 2019 audit. Congratulations to all, specifically department heads, the finance department, and the finance committee. The audit will demonstrate what the department heads prior to COVID-19 did to save a lot of money to the city, increases assets with limited personnel. Very, very positive result, and continuing to do so in the years following. I want to congratulate the Blue Island Police Department on their 3 newly sworn in police officers. Diversity at its finest. We have a white officer, a black officer, and a Hispanic officer that were sworn in this week. If you see something, say something. The reason why I'm saying this, we have noticed recent taggings in around the city. Not a lot, but some. If you see somebody or doing something like that, please report it to the non-emergency number, and I'll repeat it: 708-385-1313. We had an incident on Ann Street and Grove by the bridge, and the Public Works is aware of it. And we're going to take care of that and other areas that were hit over the last couple of days. And I want to thank the trash/garbage brigade that was out in force up and down Western Avenue and in other areas of our beautiful city, picking up debris left over from the plowing and throughout the winter. Again, I guess it's Emily Meyer, family and friends, and everybody else, volunteers. And also to our Public Works, our street sweeper has been out sweeping our streets, our main thoroughfares, and we'll hopefully get into the residential areas, but Western Avenue up and down, Broadway and Vermont, and we'll continue doing it. But again, we need everyone, and I repeat, we need everyone to pitch in. Right now, where you see a lot of debris and dirt and salt and everything else is on the actual public sidewalks. So we need everyone to pitch in and sweep in front of their storefronts, in front of their homes, in front of the public sidewalks, because the city can't do it all by itself. 119th and Vincennes, as a result of the melting of the snow, the demolition and remediation of that area has continued as we speak. You probably are aware that the Western Avenue Bridge, the west side lanes have been reopened. They will start the demolition and renovation of the northbound lanes this week. And then eventually, once that's all done, in the forefront, in the future, you're gonna see the painting of the Blue Island Blue on the Western Avenue Bridge. I'm gonna list some businesses that you're gonna see reopening in new locations, one of them being Lopez Tire, at 123rd Place in Vincennes, the old Jeans Cleaners. You've also probably noticed the Klein's building renovation has started, and that's future banquet hall, lounge, etc. And you probably saw the scaffolding go up, and they started working on Three Sisters, the facade, tuck pointing, and new windows. And that started yesterday. We got, in great news, the renovation of the Lyric Theater has already started. They're working in the building as we speak. Again, bringing back the theater to its glory days, not only showing movies, but as an entertainment center. And we're happy and we applaud the owners of the facility for bringing back Blue Island's history, the Lyric Theater. So keep that in sight, that the Lyric Theater is coming back. And as I had mentioned before, the corner of 123rd Street and Western, the Western empty lot, vacant lot, has been sold. It has new owners. We're trying to set up a meeting with its new owners and find out what are their plans for that location. And also, you probably also noticed the former TV repair shop across from Michael's Hair Salon has also been sold. And there is an idea as to going in there, but I'm not gonna give up the secret. So that's another location that we'll be developing very shortly. El Tiburon, they used to be Imelda's. That restaurant, Mexican seafood restaurant, will be opening very shortly, as well as Edible Passports for dining as a sit-in restaurant right there on the corner of York and Western. Regarding the Calsac Trail, if you haven't used it, explore it, use it, and enjoy it. From Halsted to 131st Street in Francisco, that's the Blue Island section. The remaining section that needs to be completed, which is unincorporated Cook County, that's where the old refinery used to be, from Pulaski to Francisco. So that still needs to be completed and repaired. But other than that, the Calsac Trail is open from Lamont Street, from Lamont, Illinois, all the way to Burnham. We want everyone to continuing following all COVID-19 guidelines. We are working here at the city to get an additional site for vaccination, administering the vaccine. And we're working not only with the federal, state, and local authorities. So hopefully we'll have some good news very shortly regarding that additional site here in the city of Blue Island. As they say, all roads lead to Blue Island. As a reminder, Collins Street and 119th Place street renovation is scheduled to begin as early as May of this year, all the way to September of 2021. We will inform the residents because that's going to be some parking issues as renovation is going out. So we as a city will get that information out as soon as possible to the residents, both on Collins Street and 119th Place. New street renovation between Gregory and Irving is scheduled for 2021. And we've applied for York Street again between Gregory and Irving, also from CDBG. Almost done. Severe weather season is upon us, specifically tornadoes. And from what I've been hearing, we are expecting very, very severe tornado season this year, unfortunately. So let's be aware of that. We will get the alerts out through Smart 911. Invite all loved ones, all family and friends to register on Smart 911 to get those alerts, especially because of this season being very highly active. Think big, Blue Island going green. We are asking everyone to follow this, protect our environment, protect Mother Earth, use as less paper as possible, and for the benefit, not only for ourselves, but for our Earth, for our community. And I have some very good news, and I'm gonna read it. This afternoon, late this afternoon, between around 3:30, I received an email from a J.B. Abraham. He's the district director for Congressman Raja, office from Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy, and it reads as follows. As the chairman of the Overnight Subcommittee on Economic Policy, which is the committee that drafted the state and local funding provisions in the American Rescue Plan, our representative, Raja, has worked hard to ensure state and local governments in Illinois receive robust funding so you are equipped to respond to the COVID pandemic. Nothing is final, but as of now, we expect Blue Island will receive approximately $2.8 million. We are pushing to pass this COVID relief package tomorrow, and look forward to working with you so that you can use this money to strengthen the economic and public health conditions in your community. Best regards, J.B. Abraham, District Director of Office of Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy, Illinois 8th. So we just received that at 2:36 p.m. this afternoon. So with that, I finished my comments regarding that. City Clerk, any business?
I do have one addendum to Carol Green's public comment that I didn't see. It
Okay,
says,
go ahead.
she said, I would like Kasperick Auditing Firm to report saying where the $6 million savings from our 2019 municipal audit is and how the savings were actually generated. Is the $6 million in savings available now for our 2021 Blue Island appropriations?
Okay, is that it?
That was the addendum to her.
Okay. Yeah. Any other business, any bids?
No.
All right, moving on to City Treasurer, the monthly Treasurer's report. I guess we'll need a motion in a second, is that correct?
Yes.
Do I have a motion in a second?
Bellato makes a motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Cazares, second.
Thank you, sir. If no questions, I'll need a roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Cazadis.
Aye.
Cazadis, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Farnwell.
Aye.
Farnwell, aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Mac.
Aye.
Mac, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Zillman.
Aye.
Zillman, aye. Clinker.
Aye.
Clinker, aye. Steve-O.
Aye.
Steve-O, aye. Johnson.
No.
Johnson, no. Alexander.
Aye.
Alexander, aye. 11 ayes and 1 no, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to approval of interfund transfers from unrestricted and restricted accounts. I need a motion and a second, please.
Bellato motions.
Do I have a second?
Alderman Carr.
Thank you very much. If no questions, I'll need a roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Cazadis.
Aye.
Cazadis, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Farnwell.
Aye.
Farnwell, aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Mac.
Aye.
Mac, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Zillman.
Aye.
Zillman, aye. Clinker.
Aye.
Clinker, aye. Steve-O.
No.
Steve-O, no. Johnson.
No.
Johnson, no. Alexander.
Aye.
Alexander, aye. 10 ayes and 2 noes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Move on to cash collection report, receipt reports, nothing, and then treasurer's announcements, nothing. City attorney, any business, please?
No business this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Committee reports, Community Development Committee,
No report, Your Honor.
very much. Moving on to Finance Committee.
Finance Committee met last night. There's a motion for approval of payroll for March 5th, 2021. $358,993.55.
Motion, do you have a second?
Alderman Holly.
Thank you very much. If no questions, I'll need a roll call.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Costas.
Aye.
Costas, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Farnwell.
Aye.
Farnwell, aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Mack. Alderman Mack.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Aye.
Mack, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Zillman.
Aye.
Zillman, aye. Clinker.
Aye.
Clinker, aye. Steve-O.
Aye.
Steve-O, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Alexander.
Aye.
Alexander, aye. 12 ayes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next, we have the accounts payable for March 10th, 2021. $478,300.02.
You'll make the motion. I have a second, please.
Second.
Thank you very much. If no questions, I'll need a roll
I
call.
have a question. I got a
Go ahead.
question.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. On page 7, there is an item, the city attorney wrote to us about it prior to this meeting. Particular item at the top of the page 7 for $32,147.54, which was the city attorney's cost for, I guess, administering and assisting with the city's handling of the ballot objections, ballot signature objections. And I understand there's about, well, anyway, the total at this point, just as FYI, of about $47,000 that the city has spent on this. And
What's your question, Alderman?
I will put it in the form of a question if you would like me to.
I mean, we could pull it out if you'd like. If you'd like to pull it out, we can pull it out if you'd like.
No, I am not asking for that because we have to pay it.
Then you're making an announcement. It's not a question.
I have a question if you let me ask it.
Then ask the question.
Thank you. So an attempt was made to remove every single candidate from the ballot except the candidates for United Blue Island.
Again, this sounds like a statement, Alderman.
It's a question.
You're
and I'm
grandstanding
getting to it.
politics during a council meeting. Can't we do the city council legislative business without grandstanding for one meeting? This is a question. If you have a question about the billing, ask the question.
Go ahead. Keep talking as long as you want. I'm going to ask the question. Are you done?
I'm waiting still. I'm waiting, Alderman, please.
Are you done?
Are you done? I haven't heard a question yet.
I am going to ask it if you will not interrupt me anymore. Thank you. As I was saying, an attempt was made to remove every single candidate from this city's ballot other than those who are running with United Blue Island. This attempt had to be adjudicated by the city. All of those attempts failed because the attempt was clearly bogus. And the city now has to pay this fee. I guess I would just like to know if anyone here would care to explain to us why this was done. I don't expect an answer, but I wanted to ask the question.
Thank you for your question.
Is the person that filed the objections, are they here on the city council?
No, they are not.
Then you don't get an answer then. So why would you waste all that time to ask that question when they're not here on the city council?
Alderman Alexander, don't be cute. We know who
Can we-
did this, and we
can we
know
get-
that you
I'm
can
not
answer
trying
the
to
question,
be
so
cute.
just
Are we
move
approving
on.
accounts payable or are we campaigning here? Please.
Yeah, this is getting out of hand. Somebody needs to take
Come
charge.
on.
All right,
Alderman,
everyone, come on.
this is a motion to approve accounts payable. If you want to remove something or have a question regarding the billing, which you already asked, then if not, let's approve the motion or deny it. This is.
I've asked my question. I didn't get
We
an
got a
answer. and
motion, we got
I
a
will vote-
second. Could we have a roll call, please?
I already knew you weren't gonna get an answer.
I didn't know that.
I have a
Maybe
question.
somebody wanted to be honest
Please.
for once.
Are we
A
gonna,
roll call.
again, grandstand? There's a motion and a second. Let's call it the roll call.
Roll call, let's go.
Business.
Take charge.
I have a question. Alderman Steve has a question, please.
Go ahead, Alderman.
Thank you. Page 7, line item 131,643, property damage claim. Could you tell us what that's for, please?
Alderman, in due respect, I do not have it in front of me. I don't know if there's a finance person on the line for this. You could remove it if you'd like.
No, I don't want to remove it. And also on page 6, line item 131,602, knocked down light pole, 127th, $2,059 for the cost. Was there an accident report filed, and will the city reclaim their damages from the insurance company?
If there's anybody that can answer that.
You know what?
Alderman Steve-O, this is Kerry Horvath. On this particular knockdown, I'm not sure at this point. I can check. I'd have to check with and go into my emails. I'm not sure if there was insurance with respect to this particular knockdown. I can check my emails and I'll let you know, hopefully by the end of the meeting, but I'd have to leave the meeting for a moment. But we do have, if there is insurance and we can identify who the insurance company is, we do attempt to try and collect for the damage to our city property. I will have to check on this one though, if that's okay with you.
No, that's fine. You can check in the near future. Thank you very much, Attorney Horvath.
Okay.
So we got a motion, we got a second. Roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Costas.
Aye.
Costas, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Farnwell.
Aye.
Farnwell, aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Mac.
Aye.
Mac, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Zillman.
Aye.
Zillman, aye. Clinker.
Aye.
Clinker, aye. Steve-O.
Aye.
Steve-O, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Alexander.
Aye.
Alexander, aye. 12 ayes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Next, we have the presentation of the 2019 audit status. I believe Kasparik's on the line, or his office, I mean.
Yes. Go ahead, whoever's there.
Hi, this is
Stephanie.
Stephanie. This is Stephanie from John Kasparik Company. We completed the December 31st, 2019 audit. Everyone should have a copy in front of them. This is a very large report, but what I'm going to do is point out the key pages and some of the key financial information and how that compared to 2018 and how the city ended for the year at 12/31/19, and flag those pages that I feel are of importance for the city council and for everyone to look at later. Does everyone have the report? I'm assuming you have the report. Okay. So we'll start on page 2. Page 1 and 2 is the opinion. At the top of page 2, we state that in our opinion that the financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects to the financial position of the city. So that's a clean, unmodified opinion. That's the best opinion that you can get. So we had no issues that we could not report on. Then the next big group of section is a management's discussion and analysis. That goes through page 13, but that is all just summarized information of what's later in the report. So we're going to actually get to the key information in the report. So if we can go to page 14, please. Page 14 lists the statement of net position, and this is for the entire government. This includes the water and golf as your business type activities. Your governmental activities are all of your other funds, a grand total, and then the library is also listed on this page. So what I'm going to point out here is in the first highlighted section, assets, where we get to total assets. The total assets of 2019 are just over 69 million. And last year, those were just under 64 million. So there was quite an increase here of over $5 million in total assets for the city that were accumulated in 19 over 18. The next section is deferred outflows of resources. Both the deferred outflows of resources and deferred inflows below are related to your pensions and your post-employment benefits. They're not as directly related to the operations of the city. So we'll go to your liability section right in the middle. And the total liabilities for the city were just over 74 million at the end of the year, which overall was up about 1.5 million, but that was because there was some large legal claims that were in there. And AP was a little bit higher than the prior year at December 31st, but then our long-term debt and those general loan obligations also went down by $1.5 million. So the next page that we'll go to is page 16. Page 16 is the balance sheet. This is all of your assets and liabilities per fund. You'll see there's the general fund, and then there's 3 specific TIFs, and then your non-major funds. The non-major is the 12 other funds that are out there, which we'll get into the detail of exactly what those are later in the report. But this does not include your capital assets or your long-term debt. So when we're looking at our total assets here of just over 32 million, they were up about 4.7 million over the prior year. Our liabilities for the year at 13,532,000 were up about 2 million. So on page 18, we have our statement of revenues, expenditures, and change in fund balance. The key here, this is a summary, very summarized, condensed form of all the revenues and expenditures. And if we get down to the middle of the page, right above the highlight that says other financing sources and uses, we have our excess deficiency of revenues. So with our revenues during the year overall increased about 286,000, but the expenses dropped about 580,000. So overall, there was about an $860,000 swing from 2018 to 2019, where we show our excess there is a negative 66,000. In the prior year, that was a 932,000. So that was a really positive change from one year to the next year. And then the next section where we have other financing sources and uses, that's where the bond proceeds came in for the year. There was 2 bonds, a 1.5 million and then a 530 advance on a bond that came to what that $2 million is. So overall, the total fund balances of the city at 12/31/18 were just over 9 million, and we ended up with over 11 million at 12/31/19. Next, if we go to page 20, this is where we have the water fund and the golf course. So we'll talk about the water fund first. So the water fund, overall, the total assets increased by about 300,000 during the year, and the total liabilities were down just over $1 million. So, and then if we go to page 22, is where we'll see the water revenue of 6.4 million. That was up about 590,000. And then the total operating expenses, which is on page 24, was up by about 300,000. So overall, the operating income and loss of the water fund had an increase of 281,000 during the year. So on the golf fund, if we go back to page 20, again, the golf fund, their assets as well increased about $160,000 during the year. Their liabilities went down by about 26,000. On page 22, overall, the golf course revenues did drop from the prior year about 18,000, but then our operating expenses on page 24 dropped by 120,000. So where last year we were at about $160,000 total overall loss, and this year it was only $69,000. One item that I will point out with respect to the water fund and the golf course is on page 24, you'll see about a little before halfway down, that depreciation line. Remember, depreciation is just where we're taking our assets and spreading them out over their estimated lives. So this is not cash that's going out or any funds that were specifically spent during this year. So if we don't take that depreciation into effect, if you want to see what the true operations were, our water fund had about a 1.3 million surplus, and the golf fund had about a 37,000 surplus. So when we take out that other number, it's a higher result that both were operating much more effectively, efficiently than in the prior year.
Stephanie, I want to stop you for a second, just to clarify, without depreciation, the golf course roughly made $37,000 profit, even though the revenue was less.
Correct. The revenue was less, but the expenses dropped by an even higher portion.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Okay. So then the next one we'll go to is page 28. Page 28 starts the footnotes. This is the longest part of the report. A lot of these footnotes are repetitive language and just describe the operations of the city. There's nothing that's been changed significantly in 2019. So we're going to skip over some of these pages and go to page 41. Page 41 starts your capital assets, and this is overall for the governmental activities, which is not including your water and golf fund. Your golf and water fund are on the next page where we list business type activities. So we could see during this year, the total new capital assets that the city had was about 394,000. And then there was no large new capital asset purchases for water and golf fund during the year. One page that is of significant importance that I want to point out is page 43. Page 43 lists your interfund receivables and payables and the transfers below. This is an area that we really would think it's important to just point out that we recommend that the city look into all of these interfunds. These have carried over for many, many years, but we really recommend maybe taking a look at those in more detail and seeing what can be done to try and eliminate them or create repayment plans and get rid of them moving forward if possible. But like I said, a lot of these are, the majority of these have been carrying over for many years. It's just a matter of really taking the time to get a plan together to see what we can do about them. Page 44 then starts your long-term debt. So this goes through all of your bonds, and there's some more detailed information on page 45 about your bonds, what the increases and decreases were, what your beginning balance and ending balances were. So that's what the next few pages goes through, all the detail of what those outstanding obligations are. So this actually, the long-term debt goes all the way through page 48. Page 49 has some stuff about risk management. It just shows what your claims payable were for the year for workers' comp and general liability and what you owed at the end of the year. Page 50 to 70, we're not going to look at in any detail. These are all the footnotes that are related to your IMRF and your pension funds. So should you want to see any of that detail, there's a lot of information in there. The majority of that information comes from the actuaries and the audits of the individual pension funds. We will get to their financial positions later in the report, but this is just a lot of footnotes that we're required to put in if you wanted to learn more information about those. Page 71 is where we list the recent pronouncements. These are all of the new Government Accounting Standard Board statements that are coming out. There are quite a few that are coming out that there will affect the city in different ways. Some of the reporting will change. Once those happen, we'll address them. We're going to be happening during this year, but then with COVID, created GASB Statement 95, which basically postponed all of the rest of these. You will see on page 72, there is a subsequent event note that addresses COVID-19. This is very standard language that says, this happened. We don't know what the ultimate extent that it's going to cause for the city. Okay, page 73. Page 73 to 83 are all your schedules related to IMRF and the pension funds. These are different ones that show what your pension liability is, what your employer contributions are, what the contributions required are for each of these different items. You'll see there's different years. Most of them are 5 years. At this point, the other post-employment benefits is only 2 years. And that's because that standard's only been in effect for 2 years. But ultimately, all of these schedules are designed to give you a 10-year comparative schedule. Then if we go to page 86, pages 86 to 99 is your general fund expenses of your budget versus your actual. So this is where you'll get to see all of those different line items. So if we go to page 87, or we get to our total revenues, we can see that the city budgeted revenues of $13,960,000 and actually received revenue of $14,975,000. So revenues came in higher than were originally budgeted, which again helps contribute to those surpluses that we had during the year. On page 88, we start the expenditures. And those expenditures are detailed. There's 11 pages of them because every line item that has a budgeted line item will be listed there. So if we get down to the final page, 99, right about 3/4 of the way down, you'll see where our total expenditures are. And the total expenditures budgeted were $19,084,000. And the city spent $17,368,000. So while revenues came up that $1 million, the city was able to manage the spending to come in $1.7 million under what was budgeted for the year. So the expectation for the year was going to be a 5.1 million deficit in the general fund, and it came into about a 2.4 million deficit that ultimately happened. And on page 100, page 100 through 104 are our combining statements. And what this is at the beginning of the report, when I had mentioned that we had all the non-major funds, those 12 funds, this is that information for each of those 12 funds. So all of the detail is in the report. It's just not all put into the front. So it's not too cumbersome to read at. So if you wanted to look at the assets of each of those individual funds, that would be on page 100 and 101. And then on page 102 and 103, that's where you would have your condensed revenues and expenditures for each of those specific funds that you could see, how each performed individually. Page 104 through 107, these are the budget versus actual for those non-major funds that have a legally adopted budget. You can see this is for the business district, motor fuel tax, and then for the police pension and the firefighters pension. And that's on the city side. Page 108 is our pension trust funds. So these are the actual assets, liabilities, and net position of the pension trust funds. And for the police pension, overall, the net pension or the net position for the police pension increased by about $2.5 million, and the firefighters increased by about $900,000. And if you see on page 109, the biggest difference in there, the contributions from the employee and employer were fairly similar to last year, but our investment income for police in 2018, they lost almost $500,000. And this year there was a $2.3 million increase. And same for the fire. The fire in 2018 had a $240,000 investment loss, and now they had an increase of $800,000. So overall, the investments of each of those funds did significantly better than the prior year. So that's where the large swing in their net position came from. It's much more easily identifiable to those specific line items. Page 110 is just a schedule of your valuations, rates, and extensions for your tax levies, a comparison of where your assessed valuations were for each of the last 10 years and your extended tax rates, of what those rates were. Page 111 is some more details, a schedule of your general obligation date to maturity. So we list what that is each year, so you can see how much principal and how much interest. So you can see how that pans out to 2026 is what the current obligations go through for your general obligation bonds. And then the second half of that at the bottom is your water fund loans that were out there. And you can see the amortization of where through 2024 is the large principal and interest, and then those will drop off as well once those are paid off. And the last page of the report 112 is just your legal debt margin. That just is based off your assessed valuation. And then your statutory debt limit of 8.625 that you legally could have up to $20 million in debt. Your total debt is $5 million. So you still have a legal debt margin of the 14.9 million. So I know that was a lot of numbers to go through, but that summarizes the report. That's the key areas. I hope that answers some of your questions where, you know, some of those positive changes came through with increased revenues and reduced spending is really what made the big difference from 2018 to 2019 to have such a positive increase.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you.
I have a question for Stephanie. This is Alderman Dexter Johnson.
Okay.
Yes, Stephanie, are you the one that called me about the letter that I sent to your company?
That was another staff member of mine. That was not me directly.
Okay. I have a question about page 20 with the golf, and you mentioned something about their numbers from last year.
Okay, on page 20.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's the question?
You mentioned something about the numbers. Can you repeat the numbers for the golf from last year?
Oh, yeah, let me pull that up right here. Yeah, the total assets for golf in the prior year was $3,199,000. And now it's at $3,216,000.
Okay. So was that a profit or a loss for the year of 2019 or 20?
Well, this is the total assets that they had, which is on this page. So the total assets, and did I something here? Our total assets for the year from last year to this year increased about 17,000.
I think Stephanie Alderman didn't hear the clarification because I had the similar question Alderman Johnson had. You said roughly it was about 37,000 profit in 2019, correct?
Yes, once we take out depreciation, it was about a $37,000 profit. And
37,000. Okay.
right, and that it would actually be best identified on page 24, where you have your operating loss, where it shows that negative 69,000, but you can see 2 rows above that where we have depreciation, that was 106,000. So if we're just looking at what the straight revenues, let's see here, I can give you that number. If we take out the depreciation, our revenue minus the expenditures during the year before depreciation was a $37,444 profit.
And that was last year, right?
That was in 2019.
Yeah, we don't have
19.
You want to know what 18
Okay.
is?
Yes, ma'am.
If you can just give me 1 second.
No problems.
Sorry, give me one. I have to pull it up from last year. So if we last year, when you're before taking into depreciation, there was about a $58,000 loss.
Okay.
in 2018. Yeah.
Okay. So that's almost roughly what we made in the last 2 years to cover that. So my question, one of my questions were to whomever called me, did the golf course have the capabilities of sustaining itself? You know, I'm looking at what you're saying. Its net worth is $3 million, but to make $37,000 on some property that's worth in the millions is kind of pennies. Would you agree?
Well, yeah, within our audit reporter capacity would be to determine if that's, you know, the right decision for the city of what's going on there. But I mean, that's what the facts are. That's what the numbers are of how much you guys are making during the year.
Right. But my question to you was making $37,000 off some properties that's worth $3 million, $3+. I was just asking you, was that feasible? Did that seem like a smart move?
Well, what I would ask is what are the options to do with the property? I mean, if that's what the city's looking at, different options of what it could make. I mean, there's, I'm sure, investment that could make more than that or make less than that. So you'd have to weigh what the different options are in order to really make a determination of if that's the best route for that property. Because if it, you know, if you can't find something else to do with the property, you might not be making any money. So there are a lot of different factors that go into that. So I mean, I don't know if I could really give a direct answer of if that's the best decision for the city to be making right now, but we can see what the actual numbers are, what the property, you know, what the golf course is making, and if it's improving or not improving. We can say that it improved for this year.
Alderman Johnson, do you have anything else?
Do the golf course pay for the water usage, or do the city pay for it?
Golf course.
Yes, the golf course does pay for water usage.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman.
Stephanie, this is Alderman Stevo. I have a few questions, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Stephanie, where's the $6 million in savings from the 2019 audit? Where actually is it?
What do you mean, where is it? Where do you see in the reports?
No, where do you have it? Where did you come up with that answer that there's $6 million in savings?
Based on what assets the city had at December 31st, 2018 to what assets they had at 2019. I know a big part of that was there was just in the cash and investment accounts, cash accounts, there was an additional $2.5 million of that was in actual cash at 12/31/19 versus what was in there at 12/31/18.
Could you tell us how these were actually generated?
Well, the change in the assets was generated, as I said, by increased revenues and lower expenses. So, you know, you were getting additional monies in that was not being spent. So you were able to accumulate more assets in the year versus the prior year. Versus if you're getting all of your revenues in and spending them all, your assets are not going to increase.
I see. Could you tell us if the $6 million is available now for a 2021 appropriation?
Unfortunately, I can't because the December 31st, 19 is the most recent information that we have at this time. So we don't know yet what happened in 20 until we get into that audit. So I don't have any current financial information from them.
Can you, I have a question. Can you tell us approximately how much the taxpayers are paying annually on the interest debt to the city?
For what the costs are for your interest for your debt service?
Yes.
Yes, let me find what page. Actually, probably the best place to look at that if you want to see is if you're looking at page 111, and this wouldn't be for 2019, but I can find it summarized in our footnotes there. But on page 111, that's going to show you for each different bond that's outstanding, how much total principal and how much interest you're paying each year. It's listed out for each of the different ones. So you can see specifically what each debt instrument is costing you each year.
Thank you. Can you provide us any advice?
To what extent? That's a very general question.
Well, do you see something that we should definitely change what we're doing?
Well, we could probably come up with maybe a memo of some recommendations. We do send some things in that are on there, but I don't have anything prepared for that right at this moment with this presentation.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie.
Any other questions from the Alderman? We can move on with the finance report. All right, Mayor, I have resolution number 2021-006, a resolution approving and authorizing a memorandum of understanding with the Village of Thornton to jointly collaborate and participate in the Illinois statewide auto theft, ISATT. I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that, Casares.
Second.
All right, Casares seconds it. Any questions? If not, I need a roll call.
I have a question, Alderman Steve-O, please.
Go ahead.
Yes, did our city attorney review this resolution?
Yeah, I believe it came from the city attorney. Attorney, do you want to comment?
Yes, I did, Alderman. Yes.
Do I need to explain it? I'll explain it. Basically, there's a task force they will pay for through Illinois funds. An additional officer assigned for, I believe it's grand theft auto and hijacking of cars and vehicles, and they will pay all benefits with the officer and so on. Am I roughly correct, Attorney Horvath?
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
And this is something we've been asking, especially what's been happening not only in Chicago, but in the surrounding suburbs, that we need to belong to this task force.
Alderman Steve-O, well, the police chief will assign one of the officers in the department to work in the task force, and the salary and expenses of benefits for that officer will be paid for by the state. And as I understand it, the insurance companies that operating in the state fund the program. And so this allows us to participate, assign an officer, and then add an additional officer to our department. It was explained by Chief Farr last night. He may have something to add, but it seems like a win-win program for the city of Blue Island.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And we get all the benefits also belonging to this task force, whatever equipment, manpower, investigative forces also. So if we've got a motion is second, I need a roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Casares.
Aye.
Aye. Hawley. Hawley. You're muted, Tom. Okay, Farnwell.
Aye. Sorry.
Farnwell, aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Mack.
Aye.
Mack, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Zillman.
Aye.
Zillman, aye. Clinker.
Aye.
Clinker, aye. Steve-O.
Aye.
Steve-O, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Alexander.
Aye.
Alexander, aye. Alderman Hawley.
Sorry. Aye.
Hawley, aye. 12 ayes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Last item of business I have on here is the agreement with Resolution 2021-007, resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Wormer, Rogers, Dorn, and Rusin LLC for financial consulting for the city of Blue Island. Clarified last night at Finance, and Attorney Horvath can clarify, this is still roughly month-to-month agreement.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question, Alderman.
We clarified this last night. I just wanted to clarify again that this agreement is still month-to-month for Wormer, Rogers.
It's it's an as-needed service, which we've been handling on a month-to-month basis.
Okay.
And at this point in time, they wanted to have an engagement letter signed so it would establish what they were to provide to the city and describe the expectations that the city can have concerning the services they're going to perform. And it also sets forth the various hourly rates for the individuals who will be doing the work for the city. And it can be terminated essentially at any point in time, but because they're a professional accounting firm, they wanted to have an engagement letter which details at great length the work they will do. And it's certainly,
Attorney, I think it's enough said. I just wanted to clarify in case any alderman had a question.
well, I just wanted the alderman to understand what they were approving too. So thank
That's
you.
why I asked.
So do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Holly will move.
Thank you. If no questions, roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Costas.
Aye.
Costas, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Farnwell.
Aye.
Farnwell, aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Mac.
Aye.
Mac, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Zillman.
Aye.
Zillman, aye. Clinker.
Aye.
Clinker, aye. Steve-O.
Aye.
Steve-O, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Alexander.
Aye.
Alexander, aye. 12 ayes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, I just, before I leave this document, when you execute the agreement on behalf of the city, make sure that at the bottom of page 2, you place your initials on the one deletion that was made on the document.
I will. All right, I will. Thank you. Anything
No
else,
further
Alderman?
business. Nothing
All
in
right, thank
finance.
you.
Thank you.
Public Health and Safety Committee?
No report. Our next meeting's next Tuesday. What is that, the 16th? At 6 p.m. on Zoom.
Thank you very much.
I have a comment for the public health and safety, please, Mayor Vargas. This is Alderman Steve-O.
Go ahead.
Chairman Clinker, I'd like you to include on the agenda for next week's meeting, March 16th. I'd like you to include, please, I'd like to have this part of the record. I'd like you to include number 1, fireworks ordinance 2021 revised. Number 2, resolution 2018-010 honoring Michael Cornell. Number 3, water reclamation district waterfalls park security camera. Number 4, present to the state of Illinois unsolved crimes unit for the Robbie Silva case and the Carlos Delgado case. And another further discussion on the new ambulance, ALS, and the new fire truck. Thank you. Please include it for the agenda.
We move on to Municipal Services Committee. Anybody?
No report, Your Honor. We have 2 handicap parking ordinances on the agenda for tonight. I had to cancel Municipal Services meeting tonight for lack of a quorum. I don't want to see these residents wait until next month or possibly May when the new committees are formed. So I'd like to present these directly to the council if I might.
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, the first one is ordinance number 2021-003, an ordinance restricting a portion of a certain street for handicap parking only at or near 2512 Grove Street within the city of Blue Island, county of Cook, state of Illinois, and providing penalties for the violation thereof. And the second one is ordinance number 2021-004, an ordinance restricting a portion of a certain street for handicap parking only at or near 12221 Artesian within the city of Blue Island, county of Cook, state of Illinois, and providing penalties for the motion thereof.
So you'll make a motion for both?
Yes.
And I'll need a second for both?
Alderman Steve-O, second.
Alderman Steve-O seconds. If no questions, I'll need a roll call, please.
Sure. Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Costas.
Aye.
Costas, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Farnwell.
Aye.
Farnwell, aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Mac.
Aye.
Mac, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Zillman.
Aye.
Zillman, aye. Clinker.
Aye.
Clinker, aye. Steve-O.
Aye.
Steve-O, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Alexander.
Aye.
Alexander, aye. 12 ayes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Anything else, Alderman?
No, that's all. Our next meeting should be April the 13th, but because the election is before that, I don't know exactly how that plays out.
Okay. Thank you very much. Judiciary Committee?
I'm sorry, Mayor. I got a question for Alderman Carr. Alderman Carr,
Yes,
did
sir.
anything come across your desk in Municipal from Miss Rita about four-way stop sign I asked about months ago?
No, we have not seen that. I'm not sure that would come to municipal services.
Hey, I can shed a little light on that. Hey, Dex, I think I texted you after the last. I think I texted you after the last council meeting. I contacted Nancy. It was not. I think they canceled their last meeting. It's supposed to be on next week's meeting. Though you're talking 141 in, was it Francisco?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking? Yeah. Okay. So she knows about it. I'll shoot her a text and reminder, but it's supposed to be on the agenda.
Thank you,
all right,
Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you. Judiciary Committee, anything? None? Any aldermanic announcements or comments?
Yes, this is Alderman Hill.
Yes, sir.
I got two things I would like to address. One that happened on February 23rd, 2021 at 3:57 p.m. My constituent, I think I mentioned last city council meeting about helping her with the heat. But she said a statement was made to her regarding me, and a question was made, statement was made to her from Marisol Barrera.
Regarding?
And she wanted to know why this statement was made to her regarding that, because it had nothing to do with her heat. And the statement as follows: yeah, Mr. Hill will be your alderman for now, but in April, he'll be gone. His name isn't on the ballot for the up and coming election.
You know what? I was there. She didn't say
my thing about this, sir, I thought that was unprofessional, improper thing for her to say.
I don't think
to
she
my
said it
constituent, because she came back and brought it to me and asked me to address it, so I am addressing it now.
Okay.
And secondly, the other thing is, you mentioned about the 123rd land over there. Did you send me as alderman of that ward anything regarding that?
We haven't received anything 123rd yet. If you paid attention, we haven't received anything.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're informed me.
No, we haven't received it. As soon as I get it, I'll give it to you. I have nothing to hide.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody
you.
else?
Mayor, it's Alderman Mack.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. You know, I came in as an alderman with a lot of fire. And I'm probably going to go out with a lot of fire after tonight. I'm having some issues. Well, number one, I don't know how we can do this. I'm getting numerous calls that our residents are looking for vaccine locations. I received 2 calls this afternoon. I don't know if anything can be put out or helping, especially our seniors, trying to locate vaccine for COVID. I don't know, Mayor, is there anything that can be done?
Well, I don't know if you saw the media. We're asking for the former Metro South of our state, local, and federal authorities to consider that facility. I've reached out to President Preckwinkle to reach out to the state, to FEMA, and to the National Guard to see if we can use that former hospital site as a supplemental additional vaccine site, not only for Blue Island, but for the Southland, given its parking, its availability, its accessibility. So we're in the works of trying to get that hopefully secured.
And I have seen that, but we just, we have to try to push forward.
Yes.
I have numerous older
Right.
and spunky residents in the fifth ward, and they
Okay.
want to be vaccinated, and
You
they
got
should be, and that's the issue.
Okay.
So I'm gonna move on a little bit. I want to thank everyone, the city of Blue Island, and the great residents of the fifth ward. It's been a great pleasure trying to do what was right for the city. It's been a great adventure. They don't give you any training wheels. You're kind of thrown into this. And I've made some amazing friends. Nancy Thompson, you are amazing. Rachelle, phenomenal. And I got to tell you, Marsha Lee, you and I will always be connected. So I thank you very much. Now, with the election coming up, I'm having some issues here. And first of all, that we had to spend, and it's not the rate for the attorney, but it's the amount of money the city got sucked to pay for all these extra fees. It's ridiculous. And Bill Farnwell, I totally agree with you. Number two, with a new regime coming in, I ask that residents watch contracts and deals being made. I have to tell you, this is a hard one to call, but the last couple of days, I've gotten numerous phone calls, text messages, and I'll tell you how I tried to resolve it. We have an unusual situation where we have chamber folks, and they do a nice job. They also control our city website and also our historical society. And they've decided on the rental home to place a sign for someone who's running for mayor and his people. And I have a real problem with it. Now, it's not legal, it's moral. People look at them, I think they should be bipartisan. And I called someone last night and I spoke my mind, and they decided to move the sign a little bit away from their house on basically another home's property. But I think this is a very wrong situation for the city. I know some people messaged or text them over the situation. From what I understand, these have been shared throughout the city. Now, I don't know in person if I know that's to be true or not. I've been told they were shared to other people in the city, which is very wrong. And I also think when you're responsible for the Blue Island Historical Society social media site, your own rental house should not be on the cover page. Why not put the Historical Society home and use that as a indicator of this great city? So I'm telling you, I'm going to go out with a fire. I came in with a fire, but I still think Blue Island's wonderful and it can be a great place. But everyone, look at these facts and vote smart. So it's Mike Meck, and I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alderman.
Oh, I have one more thing. Sorry about that. You know
Go ahead.
me, at a bandbox. I want to congratulate Gabe McGee with something. Gabe went out of his way to get funding for a local school play lot. I had nothing to do with this, nothing. But yet he wanted me there at the ceremony because I was the alderman. I didn't go because it was all about him. He did the work. He should be getting the applause and the thank yous. So that's it. And I thank everybody in the city of Blue Island. My family goes back to the 1860s. God help the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alderman. Thank you very much for your service. Thank you.
I'd like to just follow up real quick. Alderman Mac, Mike, When you first were in and you were thrown into the deep end of the pool, I asked you a kind of an uncomfortable question in public because I knew you would tell the truth, and you did, of course. And I appreciate your standing up for the citizens of this town, and I mean that very, very much. And I'd also like to say, the city council, I think we all know this, is a political body. And the integrity of this political body is founded on the right to vote. Voter suppression cuts to the very foundation of that right. Now, I raised a question tonight, and I made a statement, and I'll stand by it. The city spent nearly $50,000 in taxpayer funds to enable an obvious and blatant attempt at voter suppression. And that's all it was. The Democratic Party, in particular, is in the midst of a major effort to end voter suppression. That's what they're doing right now, and it's critical. And yet a group engaged in blatant and disgusting voter suppression. And I'm sorry if that's a political statement, it sure is. It needs to be made, and the people who engaged in it should be ashamed of themselves, not trying to obfuscate and throw mud at me and shout me down. It's a big mistake. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Shameful.
Anyone else? If not, I need a motion for adjournment.
Your Honor, hold on. Alderman Holly, I just heard in the last couple of days from a couple different people that they have had better luck calling Walgreens directly to try and get an appointment. And so, like within 2 or 3 days, instead of going through the online services. Okay. So you may want to try that. Not all the Walgreens are giving the vaccines, but they will refer you to one that is, and it may be easier to get an appointment that way. So so people should try that if they're having difficulty with navigating the online stuff.
And to
we'll keep pushing. We'll keep pushing. We'll keep researching whatever information that we can get here at the city regarding the vaccine, its availability, or vaccine sites. We will do. As you heard, Chicago opened the United Center, but again, it's limited right now to Chicago residents only. And that's why we're pushing for something in the Southland in addition to the sites that they already have. And that's why we recommend it, and we strongly recommend that they open another site, and even Blue Island, because all roads lead to Blue Island. We're so close to all the major highways and ways. So that's why we're pushing for Blue Island to be another site with additional parking and availability of rooms, etc.
So if I can piggyback on that, on Alderman Hawley's statement, I've heard the best time to try and get a hold of the Walgreens online and the CVS too is at between 5:30 and 7 in the morning, and 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when people have had results, being able to get appointments.
Thank you, City Clerk, for that information. Thank you very much. We'll spread it and hopefully pass it on to all our residents. If not, I'll need a motion and second for adjournment.
Mayor Vargas, this is Alderman Steve-O.
Yes, sir.
Appropriation season, we're scrambling to find all the revenue we can. The former hospital, Quorum Healthcare, offered to give Blue Island $2 million in 2019. I'd like to, former fireman, former Fire Chief Alderman Klinker, I have a question for you. Why did you not accept this money? You're on the Finance Committee. You know how important it is to have good ambulances, good fire trucks. Why did you not accept this money, Alderman Klinker?
You know what, Al, I'm not going to get into this conversation with you right now because all this is political grandstanding. I made my vote when I made my vote. I felt we weren't given as much information as we could have been. I'm going to leave it at that.
$2 million the taxpayers could have had. It could have helped the residents.
Yep, I heard you the first
Island.
time, Al. So has everyone else.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're asking for an answer. You're an alderman. You have to give us an answer.
I just gave you an answer.
Alderman Bellato, would you like to give an answer on that? Explain your position.
I'll explain my position. Steve-O, I see you, and I see that you like talking politics at a public meeting. You're no longer a citizen, you're a member of the body. So if you have political statements, say it at the door. City Council chambers.
I'll need a motion and a second for adjournment, please.
I'll make a motion.
Second by Mike Mack.
Thank you. I'll need a roll call, please.
Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Costas.
Aye.
Costas, aye. Hawley.
Aye.
Hawley, aye. Farnwell.
Aye.
Farnwell, aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Mac.
Aye.
Mac, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Zillman.
Aye.
Zillman, aye. Clinker.
Aye.
Clinker, aye. Steve-O.
Aye.
Steve-O, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Alexander.
Aye.
Alexander, aye. 12 ayes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Council. I'll keep you posted regarding the Congressman Raja's, the 2.8 million